love him or hate him, Superman is not just a superhero, but he is the superhero. So whether you are a Marvel fan, a DC fan, an independent fan, as superhero fans, as comic book fans, we have a lot to thank Superman for. In a lot of ways, he paved the way for many a superhero to be able to have comic books, to be able to have big screen adaptations, to be able to have small screen adaptations. And with what many are calling a definitive take on the small screen of The Big Blue Boy Scout coming to an end, as well as us getting our first look at James Gunn's big screen DC world, it's finally time to get something off my chest that has been brewing for a minute. We need a good Superman movie. Like, as a society, we need a good Superman movie. See, here's the thing. When you have the amount of history that Superman has, you are going to have high points, you're going to have low points. Yes, we all understand that at one point in time, the motto was truth, justice, and the American way, but it has not been that for a very long time at this point. One of the most enduring aspects of Superman's mythology and his history is the fact that he is a paradigm of virtue and hope. And in today's world, in today's media landscape, a bright and hopeful Superman can bring people together and can be a much needed breath of fresh air. See, I'm all for have a variety of flavors, have a variety of takes on a single character, but it feels like on the big screen, in TV shows, in comics, we have gotten a very specific flavor of Superman. What if Superman, but bad, has been done to death to varying degrees of quality? What if Superman, but bad, on the small screen has been done to death to varying degrees of quality? And if you ask me, I fundamentally believe that that's low-hanging fruit. So it's time to finally restore some hope in this character and bring it back to something a bit more familiar. See, I've said it before and I'll say it again. There are definitely positives to the Snyder Cut, to the Snyderverse. I believe that Zack Snyder did an amazing job at bringing New 52 Superman to the big screen. Henry Cavill, awesome. Like, physically, that square-jawed look that you would look for in a Superman character. But it is time for something new. And when I heard that James Gunn was going to be directing a Superman movie, I had hope that he would be able to bring some optimism to it, some lightness to it, while weaving in a certain level of camp that has to be present in a Superman movie. And I have hope that James Gunn is able to look past, oh, he's got the powers of a god. Because I, like many a person, has looked at the character of Superman and said, well, it's easy to be a superhero when you have the powers of a god. And unfortunately, Superman gets this assessment that he's one-dimensional, but he's actually pretty compelling. And you can tell a lot of really strong stories around this fish out of water, but still choosing to do the right thing archetype. And that's what it looks like we may be getting from this trailer. So the trailer dropped. I'm not going to hold back. This trailer is amazing. We start off with Superman getting knocked into the snow. It's a very familiar sight. There is nothing off from center about the idea of showing Superman in peril to start to build hope and connection. So we get this swell of the score. Now, every good Superman movie needs an epic score, and it starts to cut with him as Clark Kent. Now, the thing about Superman is essentially you've got to play two different characters, both at the same time. You've got Clark Kent and you've got Superman. Now, my biggest complaint with many adaptations of Clark Kent is that it's this big hulking dude that it is 100% riding on the glasses being the only thing that separates Superman and Clark Kent. This whole thing gives me hardcore Christopher Reeves vibes. The music, him as Clark Kent, a believable Clark Kent. See, in reality, when I heard that James Gunn was taking the helm for Superman, what I was really hoping for was, your grandfather's Superman. Fleischer Superman brought to life. Reeves, that style of Superman. That hopeful, yes, there's an air of bumbling to Clark Kent because he's earnestly trying to fit in within this world that he views as home. I don't need another emo Superman sitting in a dark room listening to My Chemical Romance, questioning the purpose of existence. And from the score forward, it starts to drum up that feeling of hope and scale and epic, coupled with this world that feels like a bygone era, that feels like maybe, just maybe, there's a shred of hope to be had. And then we cut to the farm, and I'm hopeful. I am so hopeful that we get this lived-in world straight across the board. Again, we don't need pearls and popcorn. Again, we don't need Superman crashing to Earth. It is okay to straight across the board keep the tone that we are entering a world where things are already moving. We are going to see that that's exactly what we're getting from the superhero side, but it looks like we're actually getting that from the Clark Kent side, and I am here for it. And then we get the whistle. We cut back to the snow, and he whistles, and y'all, when I saw, now mind you, the hype is real. I'm just gonna be honest. So when I saw the running forward, I had no idea we were getting crypto, y'all. I try very hard to stay quiet, and then my phone starts blowing up about, you need to check out this trailer. You need to check out this trailer, y'all. So I check it out. I had no idea that we were getting crypto, and he whistles, and I'm like, for real? And then the trailer was like, for real. And then we get crypto as a smaller dog, and I'm like, okay, this is actually a really strong choice in my book. I am in for a smaller crypto. It doesn't have to be this big, hulking dog. It is a super dog. And I love that they immediately establish a Superman who's looking to man's best friend. This idea that's innately human. Again, this is a fish out of water alien story of a guy trying to fit in a world that he calls home, that he just wants to defend and use his powers to do right in. And he needs the companion of his little dog. Sign me up, yes please. Then we start to get the action shots. And we get Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Superman needs Lex Luthor because he challenges his mind. He challenges his intellect and his cunning rather than his straight brawn. And the reality is, not everyone is going to accept an alien as a savior figure. You are going to get people that do not vibe with Superman, and you need the voice for that part of the crowd. And that's exactly what you get with Lex Luthor. Now, we've had several pretty strong Lex Luthors on TV, but the field is still wide open for that definitive take. And I really believe that Nicholas Hoult has every single skill imaginable to go down as the quintessential Lex Luthor. So, like I said, this is a moving world. We get shots of a variety of different heroes, including Guy Gardner. Seriously, if you are offended by the hair choice on Guy Gardner, open up a comic book because it is actually brave enough to be comic book accurate. And intercut among the different heroic scenes, we get establishing shots of Superman and Lois. And yes, it is going straight down the middle because this is establishing a Superman movie that actually is unafraid to bring forward the core of who Superman is. And part of Superman is Lois. Now, y'all want to hear the Breeder Geek get a little hot about a thing? Here we go. I have already seen people dunking on this trailer because it's different, because Superman in peril, because the haircut, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, it is not an MCU movie, and that's okay. To anybody watching this video who is a fan of the MCU, good on ya. I was in the theaters for many an MCU movie, but how about this? How about we give it a chance? How about we let James Gunn just tell his story and celebrate the fact that we are getting a different comic book adaptation, that we're getting a unique tone, that we are getting a movie that could reestablish one of the pillars of the DC universe, because you might just end up enjoying yourself, because that's what this is about, y'all. I'm of a vintage that remembers when we would have loved to get adaptations from both major companies. I remember when Tobey Maguire was out here dancing terribly to bad disco music. I remember before that when you were not taken seriously as a comic book fan. And these movies were afraid to actually tell a story. So instead of tribalizing and getting upset that it's not what you're used to, try something different. If you're not going to like it, don't like it on its own merits rather than trying to dunk on something before you've actually taken the time to see what it's all about. And the fact is, DC's style of storytelling is different than Marvel's. I have all the respect in the world for the big interconnected story that they told over 10 years. DC oftentimes leads into mythology and grandeur and emotional depth. And all around, this gave me hope that we are going to get a movie that captures the spirit of Superman. And that is exactly what I think we need at this moment in time. So sound off below. Let me know what you think of the trailer. Are you hyped to see it? Are you going to be in theaters to go and see it? And let me know what else you want me to cover. Until next time, peace.